deal. Hi, morning, afternoon. I'm Chief Joe Alphonse. Welcome all you guys to the event today, the launch of our pandemic report. Dada Nentsen means bad illness, whatever, so as government, you have to start. I tell people we have to start acting like government, and this is part of that process. So something big, something huge has happened, and we have to document and record our experiences for main reason just to allow our community members, our nation, to be able to know how to handle themselves in these type of situations in the future. You know, this is not the first time we've had a pandemic. We had smallpox come through our nation and other diseases that taken a lot of lives. And in the old days, during the smallpox era, our medicine people, our spiritual people weren't able to come up with a cure. So at the end, they determined the best way to deal with that smallpox was for everyone in the nation, all the clans to separate, and they said no visiting for one whole year. And at the end of the year, they all agreed to meet back at a certain location. And when the clans came back to that location, almost a year later, around 80% of our people never came back, and that was the only way we beat that. So that was a whole year of isolation. So I tell our members in lockdown, if we asked you guys to shut down for 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks, and today we have television, we have satellite, we have all these things, social media, to keep us entertained. And in the old days, our people, were trying to survive and all of that, and they managed. And we're the people, the 20% that survived. We're descendants of that. So we have to be proud of that fact that our ancestors did it with a lot less resources. So we have to. So dealing with these things are not new to us, and we're told by the stories, different community members that stepped up during that time. So we've done the same thing again. A lot of our communities, after the and even before, specifically for my community, before the 2017 fires, and I totally have 100% confident in our team and our ability to manage ourselves during these tough times. As First Nation government, the lack of resources we have. One of the biggest stumbling blocks I feel we had were the fact we don't have our own enforcement. The first shutdown we had in our community, virtually no support from the RCMP. And you approach the RCMP and their response was, those are provincial policies. It's not law. We're here to enforce law, not policies. So to me, that speaks that and really makes it very clear. The RCMP, they're not an extension of our governance, First Nation governance. We need to really work on that and develop that internally as Tŝilhqot'in Nation, so that when we're putting up roadblocks and stuff like that, that we have people that are trained and have the ability to enforce the community bylaws we put up during that time. That'll go a long ways. It's a tough time, COVID-19. We've been hit. My community specifically, we had 53 cases in our community. We lost 2 elders, both women. Huge loss. The effects of that will continue to carry on. It's not the only losses. We also lost other community members not related to COVID-19. But as First Nation, our people are very communal. They're very community orientated. So just not having the ability to have the gatherings and all of that is having a huge effect on our people. So we anticipate that there's going to be a lot of mental issues and stuff like that. So resources just to deal with those kind of issues need to be put in place. I think it's almost as if we're just going from one emergency situation right into another, from fires to flooding to pandemics. And as this is going on, we're also preparing our community for more flooding this year. And as soon as that season's over, we're going to dive right into the fire season again. 2017 fires, we did a report following that, and we're calling for the need for emergency center in the Tŝilhqot'in, and we will be calling on that again. BC and Canada needs to recognize that and put that, help establish that and create the resources that's needed to manage and allow us to manage those without provincial or federal guidelines. So again, this pandemic is something that's affected everyone internationally, and there's Indigenous people all throughout the world and stuff like that. So we're more than open to sharing that. In this report, we are the Tŝilhqot'in. We've proven Aboriginal title, the only nation in Canada to do so. That was a long fight, and we demonstrated that, the only nation internationally. So these are the challenges we have, even though we've proven rights. And we want to be a role model to Indigenous groups here in Canada and internationally. So please share this, and don't hesitate to contact us directly. We're more than happy to share what knowledge and experiences we have with anyone. On behalf of the Tŝilhqot'in, Chief Joe Alphonse, Tschilhqot'in, Yatastig.
Gazoon. Good morning. My name is Jenny Philbrick. I am from Nentsen Gha. I am the Executive Director here at Tŝilhqot'in National Government. I am really excited for the release of this COVID report and the calls to action. It really brings to light the successes that we've had as a nation in emergency response. We have been able to get food out to all 6 communities. We got our EOC up and running. We have it running really well. We're really confident in the work that we're doing. We created checkpoints, and we looked out for our people in a time of need. But this year has been really challenging with COVID, and it brought to light some of the challenges that we've faced as a nation as well. We've faced systemic racism, I think above and beyond a lot of other communities. We've had We struggled with funding, mental health issues, and isolation. So we're really hoping that this report, and we're actually expecting that our partners move forward with the calls to action to ensure that we have better outcomes in the future. We're looking to our partners to commit to UNDRIP and to understand that Indigenous communities need to be governing themselves, that we need to be in control of our emergency services, that we know what we need. We don't need to be running to our partners for funding and for acceptance and approval to move forward with the needs that we need, that we know we need at our nation level. Throughout this year, we have looked out for our people. We've made sure that they are fed. We've looked out for their mental health. We've applied for funding. We've borrowed money. We've fought for them at all different levels with our partnerships to ensure that they're safe and healthy and happy. And as a nation, we will continue to do so in the future. So again, really excited for this COVID report and the calls to action, and looking forward to meeting with our partners and discussing how we can move forward in a good way in enacting these calls to action. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure, privilege to be part of the launch of the Tŝilhqot'in National Government's report on the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm joining you all from the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people, where I'm a grateful but uninvited guest. And I'm very much looking forward to being back in Tŝilhqot'in territory at some point soon to recognize in person all the hard work that the Tŝilhqot'in people have put into keeping each other safe and well during the pandemic. As one of the co-authors of the report, I can say that this report has been drafted in the spirit of continued learning and partnership. The pandemic has been disruptive and challenging for us all, and it has required a tremendous amount of adaptation, patience, and courage. This report captures these experiences within the Tŝilhqot'in Nation during the first wave of the pandemic. It highlights how leadership exercised Tŝilhqot'in laws and jurisdiction to implement pandemic restrictions and supports, and how it did so in collaboration with the province, Canada, and other BC First Nations. Persistent efforts on the part of the Tŝilhqot'in Nation, in collaboration with others, brought about important pandemic response achievements: food delivery to communities sheltering in place, changes to the funding eligibility for First Nations checkpoints, and improved data sharing to support evidence-based decision-making by Tŝilhqot'in leadership. There remains much work to be done to realize a true partnership between the Tŝilhqot'in Nation, BC, and Canada on emergency management, and to realize the commitment to the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And much of this work lies ahead as the Tŝilhqot'in and other First Nations recover from this pandemic. This report sets out concrete actions that serve as a guide for carrying out this work. It builds on the previous work of the nation and our research team after the wildfires documented in the Fires Awakened Us report, and it incorporates recommendations being made worldwide for supporting the rights of Indigenous peoples through and beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. I want to extend my thanks to the Tŝilhqot'in National Government for extending to me the privilege of continuing our research relationship. Thank you to Emma Feltez and Crystal Verhey, my co-authors on the report. And most importantly, thank you to the Tŝilhqot'in leaders, elders, community members, community and nation level staff, and representatives from the province and Canada who shared their time, experiences, and expertise with us through the first wave of the pandemic, all of which made this report possible. For those that are interested in learning more about the report, UBC will be hosting a webinar on April 8th, where we will highlight and explain some of the key findings of the report.
Thank you for inviting me to take part in the release of the Tŝilhqot'in National Government's COVID-19 report. I'm joining you from my office at the Provincial Legislature on the traditional territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples of the Songhees and the Esquimalt First Nations. It's been a year since the Provincial Health Officer declared a public health emergency and I declared the provincial state of emergency. During that time, COVID-19 has tested the strength, resiliency, and resources of British Columbians. Now, with vaccine delivery ramping up, we have a new hope for better times ahead. But that doesn't dismiss the difficulties this past year brought, particularly to Indigenous communities who we know have been disproportionately impacted. I want to thank the Tŝilhqot'in National Government and University of British Columbia for their hard work on this report, which outlines Tŝilhqot'in experiences and how they showed leadership and faced the challenges of COVID-19 head-on. There's a lot of valuable, detailed information in this report, and it will help us better understand the ongoing challenges the Tŝilhqot'in Nation has faced trying to cope with the crises of this pandemic. As well, the report shows us the achievements we can build on, such as consistent dialogue with Tŝilhqot'in representatives throughout the pandemic, which led the province to supporting checkpoint measures and a data sharing agreement. That ongoing dialogue was and continues to be vital moving forward as we strive to enhance a public safety and community resiliency. As a government, one of key priorities is to establish meaningful and trust-based partnerships with First Nation communities. We know we need to continue to sit down together and discuss where things are working and where we need to do better. This is why the first ever collaborative emergency management agreement was created with the Tŝilhqot'in National Government, the province, and the federal government in 2018, following the catastrophic 2017 fire season in the British Columbia interior. Just last month, the province expressed a commitment to renew that agreement. The Collaborative Emergency Management Agreement has been a venue for ongoing dialogue to advance Indigenous jurisdiction and inclusion in an emergency management. Most importantly, it's a place where the Tŝilhqot'in National Government can bring concerns directly to provincial and federal governments so we can work together to find solutions. Again, thank you to the Tŝilhqot'in National Government and UBC for your comprehensive work on this report. And I look forward to the productive discussions on these and other matters into the future. Thank you.
Hello, bonjour. I'd like to acknowledge that I am speaking to you today from the traditional territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. I wish to thank Chief Joe Alphonse and all members of the Tŝilhqot'in Nation for their tremendous strength and resilience over the past year. The report released today showcases how your nation led and coordinated a successful community-level response to keep your people safe and healthy throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the incredible leadership and determination and by exercising your laws and jurisdiction, Tŝilhqot'in communities have worked together to prevent and contain COVID-19. We acknowledge and celebrate your work to release this important report, and we will be looking at ways to strengthen our partnership and to see how we can support your emergency management needs moving forward. Since the beginning of this pandemic, Tŝilhqot'in Nation quickly mobilized to provide a constant stream of information to residents in your 6 communities and beyond. From virtual community information sessions and video updates to regular Facebook posts, you, like so many First Nations in BC, have done a great job at sharing vital information on mental health services, tips on self-isolating at home, and details about food deliveries happening in communities. And your work has continued throughout the vaccination rollout. I've seen positive messages shared by Chief Alphonse, Chief Lulua, and Chief Lacis on the importance of getting vaccinated, and I'm pleased to hear that all 6 Tŝilhqot'in communities have received their first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. My government is committed to working together with Tŝilhqot'in National Government and leaders to support your needs through the pandemic and in the long term. We stand by you on your path to self-determination. Thank you. Merci.